My name is Gamerpop,
And my name is Gamerpopcast_YT.
and welcome to...
Yeah, I don't know. Do I say the or do I say Gamerpopcast? Oh,
I have
never
no
mind.
idea.
Who cares?
The Gamerpopcast.
Oh, hey. I love our really rough intros, don't you?
I don't know whether I'm going to edit it down so it's less rough, or whether I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'll figure it out when I edit.
Yes. Super planned out, super planned out, just absolutely on the ball.
Clearly we are too pro for this.
Yeah, I mean, we record these days and days in advance,
Oh yeah, it's not like we're recording it on the day, but we're planning on uploading it. No.
Actually, the closest to... I think this is the closest to the release time we've ever recorded a podcast.
Yeah, I think you're right. What time are we
like...
planning on releasing this?
I mean, I think last week's was up at 7, so...
Yeah, this is probably going to be a few hours late.
This is going to be a few hours late.
We've got 2 hours to update and upload it.
To do it. Oh, we're so planned. We'll be planning for next week, we say, and then we won't, but we will.
We need to designate a day to record every week.
Yeah, we need to designate a day. We'll
And
do
a
that
time.
afterwards. The listeners don't need to care about that, do they?
No. They just need to do whatever work they're doing and just listen.
Yeah. They just need to have the assumption that we know what we're doing.
Yeah. So what are we doing?
Yeah. We are talking about the podcast and, well, first of all, we're talking about the podcast and what are our plans? Because we have
It's fine. It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We deviated slightly today because we were planning on having a guest pretty much almost every week, but we didn't really get anybody for this week.
Who cares about guests? Maybe have a guest every couple of weeks. We just make it
maybe a guest every couple of weeks.
It's fine.
We're basically just gonna, there's not gonna be a direct. The only link between guests is going to be just people that we know, basically, and that we're like, you want to come on a podcast?
Unless we come up with a topic that they...
Unless there is a specific topic, yeah, definitely. If there's a topic, say some, we're talking about, space exploration stuff, we might get Elon Musk in, just for a quick chat. But, that's only if we talk about that. If he's unavailable, then it's all right. We'll get somebody else.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
Jeff Bezos, maybe he's a good second.
Yeah,
option.
Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, maybe.
Richard Branson. He's quite low down, I think.
Easy game. He probably is. Yeah, he doesn't make rockets. He makes planes that go really high.
Yeah, it's not as impressive, is it?
Not the same. Not the same. We know what we're talking about. Really surface level.
All right. So, what is our plan with the podcast? We're planning on releasing weekly. Hence the panic. We need to upload.
Hence the it's Sunday. Weekly podcast episodes where we talk about anything to do with video game news, tech news, world news.
Anything
things about our own personal channels, live streams, anything that interests us. If you've listened to some of our old ones, Nero used to talk about jellyfish.
Your suggestions. Yeah,
your suggestions.
Because we need more jellyfish.
Really good.
If the evolution of a jellyfish.
Real good. Just jump on the. We'll invite you in. You'll come on the podcast.
Oh my god.
The best suggestion in the comments can hop on the podcast next week.
Yes, let's do it. I agree.
And if there are no suggestions in the comments, fine. We'll make a fake account and invent a
We'll write our own comments. We'll be our own guests.
Write our own comments. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think when I started YouTube, I wrote a couple of my own comments.
Oh my god.
With a different account.
Really?
Yeah, because I have a brother, right? And he made an account and he was pranking me. And writing in the comments, and I said, if you're going to do that, make another one and write in the comments something good. So he did that, and then there was a couple of fake accounts in the comments just saying, "Oh, hey, great video."
Oh my god.
It was a joke. I never cared. It was just funny because it was like
I think I made
comments.
an alt account once. I can't remember why though. I genuinely can't remember why. I wasn't to comment on my own video. It was.
I don't know why you would, but you know.
I think I think it was to like my own videos when I was really small. I think that's what it was.
Right, yeah.
I think I did it to your videos as well.
Did you?
Yep.
That's what you like to see. Yeah.
But yeah, I stopped doing it after a bit.
You know, we've been doing YouTube stuff a long time, and we just mess around and have fun. So this podcast isn't going to be like a super organized thing, obviously, clearly, as you've seen today. But like, you know, we sometimes have interesting conversations, and we try, and we're just like, people can come on, join, watch, listen, and just hopefully be entertained by whatever we're doing, whatever we're talking about.
I mean, I had like a moment the other day where I randomly was like, hang on, I've almost got 200 subscribers. And I remember thinking back to like, I don't know, 5 years ago when we only had like 30 or 40 and thinking, whoa, he's got over 100 subscribers. He's so much bigger than me. And like now it's like, I've got over 100 subscribers. I'm one of those people. And I still feel like I've only got 20.
Yeah, it does feel weird. It does feel weird. Just like having like random people that have seen the videos over the years.
Yeah. I wonder if any of them are still around because like we left our channels.
Yeah, they probably left. They probably like fun not having this.
I know, right?
I would have left if I was them. Anyway, yeah. So that's the plan basically. Weekly podcast every 2 weeks, maybe a guest. If
maybe every 3 weeks.
Topics,
you never know.
Quite random, yeah. Quite random topics, whatever we want. And if you comment below, you might have a chance of coming into one. So.
Also, we'll probably talk about topics.
Seeing the behind the scenes.
Topics.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should mention if there's a guest that comes on, we're gonna be we don't know them like super well, you know, we're gonna be making sure that it's organized. You know, don't feel stressed. You're gonna be like called up at 2 a.m. Tuesday. We're like, hey, what do I got?
Sunday, 2 hours before it's released.
Sunday 2 hours before. So yeah, do you want to just hop on? It's like, no.
Hey, I don't suppose you could do a podcast right now.
Don't suppose. I mean, that's what we did to North the other day. We're like,
well, we scheduled it like 3 days in advance.
We did sort of schedule it, yeah. There's a little bit more.
And also we know North, so I think North was kind of expecting it.
Yeah, he was expecting. He knew that we were not going to be on it. Yeah. Anyway, well, hope you like that. Hope that plan works for you guys. People who want to listen.
I advertised this podcast the other day on my first upload in 2 months. Hell yeah! Just have to wait another 2 months for an upload now.
Yeah, nice. It's good stuff. I like it. It's cool. I think we're doing all right.
I think we are.
Yeah. So, now podcast news. Yeah, hope that works for you. I would like to say the next thing we're going to talk about, because I think I want to introduce this one because I think I have basically nothing to say about it, and you're just going to blabber and shoot information at me. But
probably
VR,
most of the topics.
Steam, and what was the other one? Steam?
And Apple.
Apple and Steam got
VR stuff.
Headsets.
Yep. So.
Mind blown.
I mean, Steam already has VR headsets with Valve Index.
Yeah, but I'm. Go on.
But yeah, so basically, what's happening is Valve has said that they plan to launch a VR brain-to-computer interface in early 2022, and that is.
That sounds creepy.
As you can imagine, SAO style. You know, go straight to the brain. Imagine that, like you lie down in bed and then boom, you're in another world. Unless you're North, in which case you can't imagine anything.
True that.
But still. So yeah, it's currently in development, and apparently it's been like really hard to like pin down when to stop because the development's been so fast. Like they don't know when to just let's develop this into a consumer thing now, rather than let's just keep experimenting with all this other stuff, because they keep finding like loads of new stuff with it.
All right, yeah,
which is really interesting. So yeah, this is definitely the future.
Are they the first ones to officially announce that they're working on it, or have other companies been doing
I
it
think
as well?
other companies have been looking into it. For sure, definitely, there's going to be somewhere out there. I believe there's also companies that have released like brain things you can attach to a VR headset, but they're absolutely terrible. Like, I'm pretty sure there's one where like you concentrate and like it rises all these blocks or whatever, and then if you stop concentrating, they fall to the ground again. But it's just really like crude. It's just bad.
I just want to clarify because I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about the fact that if you like think something in your head, it'll move? Is that what you're saying? So if I'm thinking I'll move forwards, it will like
Yes.
try and do that.
Well, the thing is, I think what it's meant to be is like if you imagine yourself moving your arm in real life, like as if you move your arm, it will move it in VR.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. You see, this is what I'm thinking, and I could be completely wrong in thinking that might be the future of VR, but is it? Is that the thing you want to strive for before you strive for like the walking sets where you like walk on the ground and it moves?
So that's just where I was going to go with. So there's like two versions of like the future of VR, right? So there's the Ready Player One style where you just have a bunch of stuff around you, and that's what we're currently going down in a sense. That's like where we're currently, you know, we've got all these haptic suits and things you can get. Very expensive still, obviously, but you can, and there's also the walking things currently out. But basically, I think the future, like the more distant future, is this neural stuff because you don't need to do anything, if you get what I mean. Like in real life, you're just lying in bed.
You see, what I think in my head, what I kind of imagine is the type of thing that I would want to see is. I'm talking about in my lifetime, I'm talking next 20 years, I want there to be these suits you can get, right? Yeah, which are like haptic suits, like already exist, but when you like sit down in VR, they like tense up the material of the suit, so when you sit down, it actually keeps you in a supported position. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, the thing is
so like you could actually sit down in like a car and in like a car in VR, and you can like sit down, and you're not actually sitting down, but the suit's making you sit down because that technology like semi-exists. There are things that can do that, and they're not very effective. But you could do that, and then you can.
Problem is that it's really hard to do that. But if you go straight to the brain, you could literally just be like in a dream where you're sitting down, you feel like you're sitting down and doing everything like that. Like you genuinely feel everything. You taste everything.
I guess that's what they're trying to do. I see.
You like literally, you could like taste. You could like eat a piece of grass if you want. It would taste like grass, or smell everything. You know, it would be like you don't have to simulate it because you're actually feeling it. If that makes sense.
Is this getting to the realms of like you get shot and then you actually die? It's like
I don't know. I don't think I know.
Style. Like Matrix style kind of.
I don't know if that. But I don't
Matrix.
know. I feel like there's a lot of anime that goes into that idea of like. If you get shot in VR, that what happens in real life, sort of thing, you know.
Oh, it's crazy! It's crazy to think that somebody could die just being in like a VR game and get shot, and then they're experimenting with it or whatnot, and they get shot in the VR game, and then they're like, yeah, they're dead. How are they dead? It's like, well, I don't know. They thought they died. Their brain thought they died, so they're dead.
I mean, Valve's co-founder, Gabe Newell, literally said this could be an extinction level event for every entertainment form in his message about it. Because why would you watch films if you could be in the film?
Yeah. I mean...
and experience it for yourself.
It's a fair point. It's more of a fair point, I'm thinking, for the future generations. I think generations now watch films, and I reckon they would still watch films.
But not for long.
I reckon
move on.
I reckon even in the VR thing, I reckon they'd like go to a cinema and watch a film in the VR thing because I think it would be quite cool. However, yeah, I think there will come a point. Yeah, might not even be a thing people do because I know what I do is I spend my weekends like Ready Player One style /
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like
Matrix or something.
Another thing is I think it would change civilization a lot because of a sense there's essentially another universe or other universes. Because if it's perfect, if it's perfect immersion, Which it probably won't be in next year, like, obviously. This is like in 20, 30 years, probably.
Probably maybe even longer.
It might even be longer, yeah. But if there's perfect immersion, then
Yeah.
why isn't it different from real life? Like, I mean, it's essentially just another universe with different rules.
Yeah. I mean, if another coronavirus comes along, how about you just jump in the VR world, bro?
We just go to a different world. There's no virus in this world.
Do you think people will die of starvation?
That's a good point, actually.
Do you think people will think they're getting food because their brain is tricking them into thinking they're eating?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And then suddenly they come out of the game, they've been in it for like 48 hours, they have no idea, and they're like, not 48, like a week or something.
And
they
like
don't
time
know,
dilation, just in general, like, you know, when you're having fun.
Like you would have
time
to
speeds
manage
up.
it. Oh, because imagine being in it and just like forgetting to come out of it.
You probably would. You probably would.
Because with that much immersion, like we're talking the future now. Everybody.
Yeah, I would easily just spend like a week. Like, I know. Yeah. I'd easily just spend a week there and completely just like die of like hunger or something.
Like dehydration and stuff, because you just wouldn't think about it unless if it's so immersive.
There'd have to be some sort of warning system in the headset. There'd have to be some sort of warning system in the headset where like it literally goes, okay, it just kicks you out of it, and like after
it's
like
a game UI. It's like a game UI. It's like you're thirsty, go get a drink, and you have to like come out of the game and get a drink. It's
literally just like, hey, it's been this long. Get a drink, this before you can return. You have to wait 10 minutes before you can carry on with this game, or something like that. Or you have to wait, like you can't play this game anymore for another 20 minutes or something like that. They'd have to be, and also government regulation is gonna have to keep up fast, because you know how like with big tech in the sense, and they've been really slow to act. If they do that with VR, it could be really dangerous.
Yeah, they'd have to say like, yo, if you're gonna do that, you have to regulate it like this, and it might
you have to make sure it's safe.
You have to be 18 plus to do it or something.
Yeah, they might. That's actually a very good point. You might have to have an age regulation. Yeah,
and so you can't do it if you're a teenager or whatever. You're not allowed. Imagine the black market in the future. No black market of drugs. No black market of like,
black market of experiences.
Black markets of unlocked VR headsets that like 13-year-olds are buying.
Maybe there's a way it could like tell how old someone is in their brain or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I guess we are. I guess the point of imagining this kind of thing, and this is always where you fall when you imagine future technology, is when you pick an item, say a phone or a TV screen or a keyboard or whatever, and you pick it and you go, in the future it's going to look like this. But you obviously, in order to say what one thing is going to look like in the future, you have to say what a lot of other things you think are going to look like in the future as well, because they will dictate how it works.
Also, you can't just go off like you every time someone predicts the future, it's always like based on what's in our current like thing. It could be something that we haven't even considered. Like nobody's even thought of being possible right now is like gonna come out and just change everything.
Yeah. Like for instance, this is like complete speculation, but they might say electric cars are going to be the future, and then in a few years' time they're going to discover you can power cars using a satellite in space. And you just fire something down on cars and all cars work, and it's like, I know it sounds dumb, but you don't know that there's not going to be a thing like that. Wait, cars are just powered by this satellite in space, and you just don't, no fuel, no electricity, it's just like signals or whatever. It sounds so dumb when you say it like this, but because it technically hasn't been invented and could like, we don't actually know. Like, things could be discovered that we didn't know could happen from certain things, and then all of a sudden we're driving cars without engines or electricity or whatnot, motors. Some weird, somehow it's just working, I don't know.
I mean, speaking of driverless cars and VR, I mean, sort of, Apple's apparently developing a driverless car, and they're also apparently developing a VR headset. So, it's been rumoured, which Like, I swear, like everything Apple ever does is rumored and comes true.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
its VR headset it's been working on is supposed to release next year as well.
Very
And it's gonna cost $3,000.
And that's where you have lost all my interest.
3,000. Like, Jesus. I know Apple likes to make things expensive, but yikes, that is quite, like, as a VR like industry, like all the headsets are going down in price. They're going like 3,000. They better be bloody good, which it kind of is with 2 8K displays. So yeah, very high pixel density, and the most, I think Pimax has 8K 2 8K displays, I believe. And that's quite, it's also got over a dozen cameras, so it's going to be inside out tracking like the Quest. It'll be standalone, just like the Quest, but also it's going to be powered with their own silicon chips, which is apparently going to be more powerful than their current MacBook ones. So that's interesting, which means I don't know how battery life's going to happen, so with that I guess it'll be alright.
I guess it sounds good. It's just, the problem with Apple is they're probably doing this because they believe with anything they bring out they're going to be like top of the line industry masters.
I mean, they probably will be
in the VR world. They probably will be pretty good. But like, I think because they're so late to the game, they can't assume people are just going to give them 3,000 for something that they've never seen before. Like, this is their first product, right? It's not like
I think that's why they're going 3,000.
Where they're like done it.
I think their plan is to go expensive but sell few. Yeah. Like, I think their plan is to try and like they make obviously a very good headset and then sell like maybe I don't know a couple 100,000 units or whatever, and about 3,000, which is make them lots of money anyway, and then make a way cheaper one next year once they know the demand's out there, and once they've established themselves as a VR headset creator, I guess. But I'm just glad that I mean, even though it's expensive, like, I'm glad they're going for another standalone device, because currently the only, I mean, there are other standalone devices, but they're utterly terrible, and the only real the only real one is the Oculus Quest 2, which is, so Facebook just has a massive monopoly right now, which is obviously bad for like any industry if they've got a monopoly. It's literally just like, I believe Germany's actually suing them over it. It's quite bad.
Yeah, that is.
That's what Apple's doing. Not as crazy as Steam.
No, not as crazy as Steam. Talking about Steam, the EA Play stuff.
I feel like you don't know anything this week.
You're kind of introducing it. I'm kind of introducing everything. Go on, talk about that.
All right.
Although you have explained it to me. I mean, actually, first of all, I should clarify what EA Play is, since I do know what that is, because
there you go.
I have it.
You can talk.
Yeah, I can talk. I have stuff to say. Yeah. EA Play is basically EA decided, and I can just go into a little bit of detail. EA decided they'd create a subscription service, which there was a deal for £20 for a year, and I think it was £5 per month, maybe £4 per month, £4 per month. Which is obviously amazing. You got like titles like all the Mass Effect series, Mirror's Edge 1 and 2, a couple of Need for Speed games. You got the Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, a good collection of games, quite a lot actually, and Sims like 3 and 4 I think as well. And it was very, very good. £20 for a year, very good. The reason why they can afford doing that, which was the thing I always thought about, was basically people, the game industry market, less on Steam, but more on like when you buy physical hard copies of games. People would buy them, play them, and then sell them off to other people, or sell them to like outlets like Game or whatever, and they would get money for them. So actually, EA technically lost money per customer, So they thought, what the best way to do it is if you get them to pay a really quite cheap price every year, and they won't sell them off. They'll get like a lot of games, and it'll be basically like buying customers will definitely spend £20 and not spend £20 and then sell their games off to then only make a net worth of like £5 or something. I think that's how it worked, something like that.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know that.
So that's how yeah. So that's how kind of like how it was working. But essentially, it worked really well for them because they could also get you to buy a load of games, and then if you wanted to keep them but didn't want to keep on playing for EA Play, you might buy the games afterwards and keep them forever, or you might just keep paying for them.
Or in this case, you could get the one. You can get a month for 80p, and then keep the games forever.
Which is something obviously I didn't do because I didn't know, but I bought this ages ago before this was like discovered.
Yeah.
But obviously, kind of like probably shouldn't do it, you know.
I definitely recommend subscribing to a YouTube channel called The Spiffing Brit. We mentioned this last week. He has just been on a rampage for the last couple of weeks. First, he went for Steam like a couple of years ago, but like last week it was all about YouTube and breaking YouTube. This week it's breaking Steam and EA Play.
Yeah, just break everything.
Yep, so basically he posted a video this week about how to get infinite money essentially of EA Play where you just you create an account, you get EA Play for 80p, you get all the Steam codes, and then sell them on G2A for like 20 quid each. And it worked out, but if you do that, you could reasonably make $30. Was it £30 an hour? I think you worked out as £30 an hour, which ain't bad actually. £30 an hour is pretty good. So,
I mean, EA Play should have really thought about that.
Yeah, it's quite the oversight. But yeah, also you could just get the Steam codes and use it from yourself and get keep the games forever free. If what you do is you buy EA Play on Steam, you then get the Steam code by going to right clicking on the game and click manage, and there's like an option for like Steam code in some of them, and then you just put that into Origin launcher, and ta-da! It looks like you just bought the game.
So that is so dumb.
But you know, free games.
Yeah.
EA, no one cares about EA.
Yeah. So when I did it, see, when you buy EA Play, it takes you to a website, and then you go through and you click add games, and it adds them to your library. But my Steam account was already connected to my EA account, so when I opened it up, I'd added them all to Origin already. But I guess if it's unconnected, you add them to Steam, and then you look for the code, and then you put in the code yourself. You get them forever.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I just know from the video. I never had EA Play, so yeah, I never really.
I mean, I
got it.
It's definitely worth it, I think. If you would like the games on there, obviously not if you don't like the games on there. If you play the games on there, £20 for a year, totally worth it. Let's go for that, you know? It's great.
I mean, I still need to get the Xbox Game Pass. I still haven't got that yet.
What type of things do you get on that again?
Oh, you get Microsoft Flight Simulator, you get CK3, you get just a bunch of, you get loads of games for $1 a month.
Where'd you get that from? What's it called again?
Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It came out quite a while ago now.
Yeah, and that's like PC as well, is it?
Yeah, that's just PC mainly.
Oh yeah, it's just okay. Oh, that might be worth getting that.
Yeah, you get all sorts of stuff with that.
Yeah. I like it. It's cool. I think it's subscription services with games have a lot of pluses because people
but it's also got negatives.
Want to spend. Yeah, also got negatives, of course. But the majority of people, unless they really like a game and they'll only play that game, they won't want to spend 40 to 50 quid on one game.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Just because people want to play different things, but they can't afford to buy all these individual games. But with a subscription service, it gives them the option to play a bunch of different games Yes, you have to pay a certain amount to keep them in your library, but you can at least
I mean, a
play
lot of
them
games you
for a
play
little bit of time.
once and then you're done, like
Exactly.
you finish, and then
Exactly.
you never want to play again.
You play them for a little bit and then you don't really play them again.
Mm.
That's it. You can't just leave it. So
yeah.
definitely, it's interesting. I like it. It's cool. I think it's one way for the game industry to embrace the digital world
Yeah,
and also
what do
combat
you mean?
Steam in some way because, well,
Yeah.
embrace digital codes and stuff because lots of, especially if they made console games, the struggle of getting them to digital. They made lots of mistakes. The biggest one being that they when they first started, it would cost you more to get it on your digitally because it wasn't going through a game vendor, which might lower the price or give you deals and stuff. And there were rarely any like, console people that didn't have as good an option to basically do stuff like that.
But I mean, speaking of games and playing games, SpaceX is playing games with a Starship, it seems. Is that a good enough segue?
The segue I was gonna go for, and I don't know why, I was gonna go for. Speaking of games, you ever heard of Kerbal Space Program? Well, you know how that goes wrong sometimes. So does SpaceX, the real space program.
I was gonna try and somehow spin. And no one else goes out with a bang. But I don't know. I didn't know how the hell I was going.
You just wanted to wait for say something.
Yeah, but nothing seemed to lend itself to that, so
No.
it never came. Anyway, SpaceX. They've been testing out their Starship system, which is one hell of a rocket when it's eventually ready. Oh my god, it's going to like change everything in the space industry. But yeah, they did a second test last week, and once again it blew up, much the same way as a couple months ago.
Exactly what you want, right?
Yep, except this time there was another Starship right next to it as it blew up, but it's fine. So yeah, it was fun. But another thing is, I just remembered as I was looking at the SpaceX website, is there's a new first private lunar mission is happening at the end of this year, and you can actually enter to become one of the first people to go into space on the Starship right now. I'm trying to find a website where you can do it, but basically some billionaire has purchased a bunch of seats on Starship and is going up in it to go around, in space or whatever. And they've also bought spare seats, and they're saying, okay, send money to like a charity or something, and like whoever said, like, you get like a ticket for doing that. I think it's quite an odd program, but it's really cool. I'm trying to find the website right now.
I can just imagine you'll get the type of billionaire who will buy a load of seats and make a competition to give somebody the opportunity to go up there because they just have ludicrous amounts of money. Then you get some other billionaire that just buys all the seats and says, nope, nobody else on, just me, bye-bye. Just buys all the seats at ludicrous prices.
Oh,
and just has
I just found it.
I'll just that'd be hilarious.
Well, I look for it. You
This will be a shorter podcast today because obviously we're recording it close to the time. But I would like to know in the comments below, and if you can do this, that would be great. I know we've asked you to say something in the comments already, and I know it's a lot of work, but I would to ask if you guys could tell us how long you want the podcast, because
that's a good question. Although I feel like we should go for long, because otherwise it's not really a podcast. But
yeah, we go for an hour generally, unless we're recording it really close to the time it's going to come out, and you haven't also edited your other videos, and you've siphoned off the editing, but then you still really don't have a lot of time, and it's a question.
I found the website.
You got D&D later and stuff, and it's just a lot of stuff going on, Found the website. What does it say?
All right, so it's a once-in-a-lifetime adventure, a journey into outer space on the first all-civilian space flight, representing worlds of science. This is all boring. Um, to enter, donate $10 or more to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Your generosity will help fund groundbreaking research in human cancer. And will also enter you in to win the generosity seat on the first of its kind space flight. Give more and you have chances, plus the opportunity for other inspiration for commemorative items. So basically, you just donate a bunch of money to charity, which is nice.
I mean, that's pretty good.
So if you, oh my god, this is like, donate $10, you get 100 entries. If you donate $10,
oh right,
and a thank you card. If you donate $25, you get 250 entries. If you donate $50, you get 500 entries, plus an inspiration for mission patch. And then $100 gives you 1,000 entries. You get inspiration for challenger coin. $150 gives you 1,500 entries, or a vintage t-shirt, plus a vintage t-shirt, sorry. $300 means 3,000 entries, or and plus a inspiration for mission poster. And then it's basically the same, going up you get more. Or you get a Falcon 9 model if you donate $5,000.
I think when it gets to that point, you're donating to charity, because I don't think anybody's gonna go. I don't think anybody, like, on that list until you get to the model. I guess it's quite cool, but the model's nowhere near with 5,000. I know that's not the point. Now can I get on to what I'm saying?
I mean, when you get to 10,000 entries,
when you get to the patch, I think when you get to the patch, you're like, I think I'm okay now. I mean, I think once you get above $100, I think that reaches the point where you're just kind of donating money at that point.
I mean, you say that, but there's two possibilities for $1,000, and they're both sold out.
Really?
Yeah, so they're both for 10,000 entries. And the first one gives you 10,000 entries plus aerobatic flight in an L-39 with companion. And the second one gives you 10,000 entries plus a VIP ticket to Inspiration 4 launch experience for 2.
Huh.
Plus all the other stuff.
Okay, that's quite cool.
Maybe
that's worth it.
But yeah.
What if they pay for transport?
I have no idea.
Oh well, that's pretty good.
But yeah, you have a chance to ride on you can go. Oh, I think it's a Dragon capsule, I think it is, rather than the starship. But there you go. You go to space and see space. I'm an astronaut, mummy.
Just like 35-year-old guy who like just decided one day to donate $10, and then suddenly gets a phone call like, go to space. He's just like sitting at his desk, no job. Alright. It's cool. Nice. Cheers. He just rides, he's eating a pack of Watsits at the back.
Yeah.
That's the person who I imagine is going to win. But more than likely, there'll be somebody who donated tons of money and got so many entries.
But hey, you can go to space if you have a chance of winning to go to space. If you do go to space and you watch this podcast, please let us know in the comments, because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, this person watches that video.
And if you really like the podcast, you could even take your phone up with you, play the podcast. No. We will. No.
We'll invite you to be a guest on the podcast while you're in space.
Yeah, while you almost 100% don't have phone signal on the. We'll work around it. We'll get Elon involved. We'll call him up. We'll say, Elon, is there a way we can phone? We can we can communicate with this person as they go up, and it'll be like, and Elon will be like, well, from what I've heard, okay.
They have Starlink.
Elon. Yeah. Oh,
Starlink, they have internet.
So
they have internet in space.
We'll get Elon to be like, Elon, yo, can we just like contact them, be on the podcast, and they'll be like, so Elon will come up and he'll be like, oh, we can, but aren't I more famous? I'll be like, no, Elon, we want the guy who won the trip. We don't want you. We want the person who won.
Screw you. We'll have you a different time. We don't care about you. We want this person.
At the back of the spaceship, all right? We want
an actual astronaut who's been to space.
Yeah, he's been to space. Have you been to
Or
space?
in
Elon?
space at the
No,
moment.
I haven't, but I've created lots of opportunities for many people. So shut up, Elon.
Oh, it's perfect.
Elon couldn't handle space. I could. Maybe we
Hey.
should title this episode "Elon, Send Us to Space." I hope he sees.
I mean, we've got what, over an hour to come up with a title. Yeah, this is almost definitely coming out late.
Elon Musk, send us to space. And then yeah. I think it's good. All right. Sick.
All right.
That's good.
It's quite a short podcast this week because we've only got like.
It's quite short, but it's not too bad.
To
it's all right, you know. It's all right. It's all right. It's definitely shorter than usual. But yeah, honestly, we'll be more on it next week, and we'll be sorted.
We'll actually designate a day to actually record.
We will. We're gonna do it right after we do this. We're gonna designate.
We're gonna record straight after this. We're gonna record another podcast for next week. It's like, yeah, I know we said comment it below, but shut up. Screw you.
Screw you guys. There's just like one little kid who just stumbled upon the podcast. He's like, guys, I suggested a topic, let me be on. And it's like, he's the only one who commented. He thinks he's gonna get a message in the next couple of days where he's gonna be like, oh, I can be on the podcast, and we're just gonna message him like, no, go away. We already recorded. Yeah. And then we're going to realise that was Elon asking to be on the podcast, and then we're going to feel really bad. And then Elon's going to say, well, that was your own
I mean, we've just basically roasted Elon this entire podcast, so screw Elon.
No, that's the point is, we think he's great. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We think he's so great that
he's the richest person in the world.
Why you can't be somebody, then it's a struggle. Thanks for watching, everybody. Listening, everybody. I always say watching, and then I'm like, you're watching this.
No, listen with a cup of tea.
Listen. Thanks for listening. Yeah, with a cup of tea. A nice, calm cup of tea. A nice bicky, and whatnot. Yeah, sick. It's weird.
Tea and bicky.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and we will be with you next week for another episode of the Gamer Popcast.